Welcome to Travel Italia, the show about travel in Italy. Hi friends, welcome back to the show. In the last episode, I answered the question, is it better to buy high-speed train tickets online or at the train station? It's a question that I get pretty frequently. And in that episode, the answer to that question is it's much better to buy them online. I'm sure that's not a major surprise to most of you. So if you want to learn about the details, listen to that episode. I encourage you to go back and have a listen. In this episode, I want to focus on another frequently asked question, and that's how do I buy high-speed train tickets online? So we've established that we definitely want to buy them ahead of time because it's cheaper to do so. You have more options, there's less confusion, and you don't waste time. But it's a little difficult to describe this process on a podcast because I'll be describing websites, which you obviously can't see, but I'll do my best. And as always, I'll put all the links in the show notes. So let's get started. As I mentioned in the last episode, there are two companies to choose from when you're traveling by high-speed train in Italy. The first is called Frecciarossa, which is operated by the Italian national train service Trenitalia. And the second company is called Italo, Italo, which is a private company. So let's talk about the process. Basically, you have two options to buy tickets online. The first option is a third-party website. For example, Trainline.com. Trainline.com is a website that sells only train tickets in Europe. Or Omio.com. Okay, Omio sells train tickets, bus tickets, and I think, taxis, what have you. And I think they are worldwide, if I'm not mistaken. These websites and their apps are in English, okay? So each has their own app. They're easy to use, and they give you results from both companies, so from Frecciarossa and Italo. They're like one-stop shopping options. You can book your tickets online, check your schedule, download the app, before you even set foot in the country. And I just want to mention that I don't have any connection to these companies, so I'm just done a lot of research, and they are good options. And so they're good options for people who maybe you don't have a lot of time to do research. You just want to do everything in English and not have to bother with, changing the language on the website or searching two websites. So this is a good option. What are the downsides of using Trainline or Omio or other third-party websites? Well, based on my experience, you don't always get all the options you would if you were buying directly from Trenitalia or Italo, and the prices can be slightly higher. Also, you're not able to see all the discounts offered by Italo and Frecciarossa. Both companies offer various discounts and promotions. Okay, so option number one is using a third-party website like Trainline or Omio. Let's talk about the second option. And the second option is obviously buying your tickets directly from the train companies. So Trenitalia.com or italotreno.com, I think their website is, but I'm not 100% sure at this point, so I'm going to put it in the show notes. Now, this is a little more work because you have to check two websites and do the comparison shopping yourself. But if you're up for the task, I really do think it's the best option. Some people may be intimidated because when they go to the websites, it's all in Italian. You pull up the homepage and it's in Italian. But don't let that stop you. In the top right-hand corner of both websites, there's a language option so you can easily choose to view the website in English. No problem at all. So I personally just prefer to go directly to the train companies because you're going to get the most up-to-date information and the most options for train routes. And you're going to be able to see all the fare options clearly and all the discounts available clearly. So on Omio and Trainline, you can see some of the discounts, but not all of them, okay? And I noticed that when I was doing research. I'll give you an example. I priced a train from Milan to Rome. Trainline's best price was €143.60. That's a round trip. While on Italo's website, the price was €119.60. Okay, so it's not a dramatic difference in price. But, if you're on a budget, that's the cost of a pizza and a glass of wine. So there's that. If you decide to book directly from the train companies, Italo or Frecciarossa, like I said, I just want to stress, you should check both websites because their routes aren't always the same. Okay, Italo in general has less routes available. They are the private company. Trenitalia has more Frecciarossa routes available. They travel to more places in Italy, so be sure to check both. So let me walk you through the process step by step. So if you're able to sit down at a computer or pull up the website on your cell phone to follow along, we're going to use Trenitalia as an example. So go to trenitalia.com. That's TRENITALIA.com. Once you found the English drop-down menu in the upper right-hand corner, we're going to start with that search option from the city that you're departing from. And before we even start, we need to talk about train station names. So in Italy, every train station is not just called by the city name. It's got a second name as well. So, for example, here in Milan, the main train station is called Milano Centrale. But it's a big city, so there's also Milano Cadorna, Milano Garibaldi, all kinds of train stations here. So it's important that you know which train stations you are traveling to and from. But in most cases, I would say most tourists are traveling from the main train stations of major cities. Okay, so that makes it easier. But the problem is that these train stations are not called main train station. Milan is the exception because it's called Milano Centrale, or in other words, the central train station. For example, in Venice, the main train station is called Venezia, the name of the city, and then Santa Lucia. So Venezia, Santa Lucia. So that's a bit confusing. How can you know that you're traveling to and from the right station? Well, there's a couple of ways. You just pull up Google Maps, look for the train station nearest the historical city center. And that will most likely be, not most likely, it will be the city's main train station. Or, if you're staying outside of the city center, just look for the train station nearest to your hotel or Airbnb, wherever you're staying. Another thing to remember is to use the Italian name of cities if you're going to use Trenitalia or Italo. Okay, so if If you're using Trainline or Omio, you don't need to worry about this. But if you're using you're buying tickets directly from the train companies, even though everything's in English, you do need to use the Italian name of the city. So Venice is Venezia, Florence is Firenze, Rome is Roma, Milan is Milano, Naples is Napoli, etc., etc. Okay, so back to our search on Trenitalia's website. I'm going to search for trains from Milan to Rome. I know that I need to travel to and from the main stations. So in the search, I choose Milano Centrale. Okay, then when I start to type in Roma, up comes a bunch of options, and I'm going to choose Roma Termini because that is the closest train station to the historic downtown of Rome. It's the biggest train station. Okay, so then I pick my dates and times if I want to do a round trip ticket, how many travelers, and start my search. Up pops a list of trains available. The list gives you from left to right on your screen the time of departure and train type, number. And here you want to pay attention to the left-hand side where it has the time of departure, because here's where you're going to see whether or not the train is a high-speed train. Okay, so remember we're on Trenitalia's website. That's the national train service for the entire country. And the high-speed trains that travel with them are called Frecciarossa. Okay, so you're going to see that name in the left-hand column if it is a high-speed train. You'll also be able to tell if it's a high-speed train by the duration of the train ride, right? So on the left, you have the departure, train type, the duration of the train ride, time of arrival, number of changes or transfers, and then finally the price on the right-hand side. Okay, another thing you want to pay attention to is that column of the number of changes or transfers. Of course, if you want to, if at all possible, avoid changing trains. So be sure to look at that column. If you see a 1, that's 1 transfer, 1 change. 2, obviously 2. If you don't see a number at all, that means it's direct. Okay, so when I say direct, I don't mean nonstop, but I mean there are no transfers. Okay, and if you're not quite sure, there's a little info icon that you can click on to see the exact route, how many stops, and all the details of the route. Once you choose your train, click on the option, and then up pops another window showing you all the fare options. Here, as you can see, you have a lot of options. You have standard seats, which would be like coach, but with way more legroom, all the way to executive, which would be like first class. Okay, you can click on the info icon for the details of each class. So, of course, business and executive class, you just get pampered a bit more. You might get some free coffee, free drinks, a little more attention, a little more space. In general, traveling on high-speed train is really comfortable. You have way more room than you do on a flight. You'll also see various discounts and offers. Like I said, there is a senior discount. There's a youth discount available, so people who are under 30. There may be seasonal discounts available as well. You also notice that there are base fares and economy fares. So what's the difference? Well, a base fare is fully refundable and changeable, while an economy fare is changeable but not refundable. Okay. Now, if you choose a promotional fare that's really cheap, it may not be changeable or refundable. So you need to click on the info icon to check the conditions of each type of fare or promotional rate. After you choose your fare, you'll be taken through the booking process and you'll be asked if you want to reserve your seats in advance for an extra fee. If you choose to do so, pops a map of the train cars and you can see the map and pick your seats accordingly. So if you don't choose your seats, the company just assigns you seats. So unlike regional trains, there is no assigned seating on regional trains. It's just first come, first served. That doesn't exist on the high-speed trains. All seats are assigned. After you finish the booking process, whether you book on Trenitalia, Italo, Trainline, Omio, or some other platform, you'll receive an email confirmation with your ticket. You can also, like I said, download the app for whichever website you choose, which will show you your ticket and keep you updated with the details of your trip, and also let you know if there's a delay, if there's a problem of some sort. So there you have it, guys. Let's review. So you have two purchasing options: third-party websites or buying directly from the train companies. And as I said, I prefer to buy directly from the train companies. I do encourage you to just check out all your options and just see what you feel more comfortable with. And I just want to stress, this is a really easy process. Don't let it intimidate you. Don't let it stop you from booking your own train tickets. On the next episode, I'll be talking about what you need to know and do the day of your train travel. So we'll talk about arriving at the train station, signage, what signs you need to look for, some vocabulary about trains, platforms, cars, that kind of thing. This is just to prepare you so that the day of you're not stressed and you know what to expect. On the next episode, I'll be talking about what you need to know and do the day of your train travel. What to expect at the train station, where to go, how to navigate the whole process, and also some helpful vocabulary that will help reduce any anxiety or stress the day of your travel. So when you arrive at the train station, you'll have all this information and you'll be ready to go. Well, I hope this episode has been helpful. If it has, please like, share, subscribe to the show. I so appreciate your time, and I wish you a buon viaggio. Ciao.